The Secretary General of Lebanon's resistance movement Hezbollah says Israel and some Arab countries are against any agreement between Iran and the permanent members of the UN Security Council, plus Germany.
When Israel looks around it and when it finds that there are negotiations taking place between Iran and some world powers, the so-called P5+1, meaning the permanent members of the Security Council plus Germany, and Israel then finds that there is a possibility and a chance for a political or diplomatic solution for an understanding between Iran and the world powers. And hence, Netanyahu lights up with anger. Then the number of angered countries in the region will increase.
Nasrallah said Israel is doing its utmost to prevent the two sides from striking a deal on Iran's nuclear energy program. He said Tel Aviv prefers to push for war in the region for its own interests, as the U.S. has warned that the alternative to a peaceful solution is war. On the situation in the Arab world, Nasrallah said Tel Aviv is happy with the divisions and conflicts in some Arab states. He said that is part of an Israeli plot to have a divided region and weak entities so that it can impose its hegemony. To discuss that further, we're now joined with Mr. Mark Glenn, who is an author and journalist, and he's joining us live now from Idaho. Mr. Glenn, thanks a lot for joining us. Now, how does it serve Tel Aviv's interest to have war in the region?
Well, it's not just war, it's the destruction of Iran as well. Iran, even if Iran did not have a nuclear weapons program, did not have a nuclear program, and the proof was irrefutable that Iran was not developing any kinds of weapons that could threaten Israel, Israel would still be calling for Iran's destruction because Iran is the only stable country in the Middle East and has achieved that stability without being tied to America and Israel, as opposed to the other countries in the region who are completely dependent upon America and Israel for money and for military supplies. So, and keeping the countries surrounding Israel in a state of instability and chaos, whether it is through war, whether it is through these color revolutions that we have seen taking place now in the last few years, and then having Israel sit in the midst of all of this, stable and basically an island of prosperity and a Western outpost, this only strengthens Israel. So it's in Israel's interest, obviously, to keep the other Arab countries divided and squabbling and chaotic and unstable, because that's the only kind of environment that she can exist in.
But then, interestingly, these divided and destructive, Arab countries that you speak of, those are some of the Arab countries that, in fact, do not support a deal with Iran either. What of those countries? Why aren't they on board with this deal?
Well, because if the United States is eventually pushed out of the region, and along with the United States being pushed out, American money and American political influence and American military power, then these countries are going to fall, especially countries such as the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Jordan and these other countries that have oppressed their people. The only way that these regimes are able to stay in power is because America is in the region supplying those regimes with money and with military power and with political support. So at the end of the day, these countries have a vested interest also in making sure that Iran does not become the powerhouse of the Middle East, because if Iran becomes the powerhouse of the Middle East, and then alongside her she has assistance from Russia and from some of the other world players who are very much standing up against this new world order, then these regimes are going to fall as well. And so it is for that reason that they have to make sure that somehow, some way, Iran is reduced to some type of manageable state. Typically what they would like to see is to see Iran fragmented and divided and squabbling, just like the rest of the countries in the region are.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now, but of course we do appreciate your insight. As always, that was Mr. Mark Glenn, author and journalist, speaking to us live from Idaho.